Back on the show now is Aaron Lacey, who's going to be taking on Zach DiSabatino next on October the 29th in the main event of Cage Titans 56. Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you? It's good to be back.
Yeah, great to have you back as always. I'm excited about this fight, man. I mean, you and Zach, two of the premier fighters here in New England. We're obviously going to get to that and pick apart the fight here shortly. But first, I just want to start with camp down at Nostos. You guys have so many killers, so many great fighters at the gym day in and day out. How has this camp been for you this far?
Camp's been good, as good as a camp can be, it's been great, like great training partners, good pushes in the room, cardio is on point, so I mean, camp is camp, your body gets beat up just from the wear and tear, and no one ever fights at 100%, but it's been a very solid camp.
And, I know you guys have a couple other fighters that have upcoming fights around the corner. Nathaniel Grimard's going to be fighting for NEF again, NEF 50, November the 12th. Can you just give me a little inside look into how he's looking in camp so far?
Nate's looking good. We train together a lot. We have kind of good styles for, what each person is going to be coming up against next in the near future here. So he's looking real good. I also have two other teammates making their amateur MMA debuts on this card as well. So Craig Marston and Brian Ferguson. So, those guys have been working hard. Brian's had a couple kickboxing matches, but it's his first foray into MMA. So, I'm really excited to see what those two guys bring, and I know they're really going to set the tone for the entire night, so I'm definitely going to come in after them and just cap it off.
Very nice. Well, as far as your training partners go, I know you mentioned Nate being one of the main guys you go with. Who else has been around you for the most part this camp getting that work in?
I've had Ross Sinar, Brody McDougall, my roommate down here, Kyle Pufall, whole bunch of people. I've missed at least like 10 people, I'm sure. It's been a pretty solid group of guys. Devin's obviously been there day in and day out. So I have a great room to go with. Any given day there's 6-7 people that are going to be able to offer me something that's going to help me improve.
And we've talked in the past, but I know initially there was obviously an adjustment period getting used to being down there full time. You essentially picked up and moved your life down there. What is that like now? Is it pretty much? I have to imagine at this point you're pretty much accustomed to what your day-to-day routine is like.
Yeah, I mean the routine kind of sets in pretty quick. Everything's kind of built around training. What I need to get done training wise, and then I just kind of fit in the rest of my life around that. So I've got a pretty decent schedule. I do get up pretty early to go to work. That definitely kind of sucks, but I mean, other than that, I really don't have any complaints about my day to day. I still have 4 or 5 hours in the gym, if not more, and plenty of sleep for the most part, and all the time to just improve and get better.
Do you notice a big improvement in a certain aspect of your overall game since making the move to Nostos?
I mean, my entire game's gotten better. I've been in the fight game for a long time now. Actually, beginning of the month was 10 years since my very first amateur MMA fight. So that's kind of like, actually it was about a week ago now. So that's kind of a big thing. So like I've been around a lot. I've seen a lot of different coaches, a lot of different takes on what is the proper way to train, and good techniques for this and good techniques for that. So so adding things to my game is like I get that 1% better every day. It's never anything like, oh man, this is like a brand new way to run a double leg. No, it's like, okay, if I put my hand here instead of here, when this was my thought process, and this is my new thought process, so I'm getting new results. So it's very minor tweaks that have been making big gains.
All right. And I know that unfortunately you did suffer an injury that had you on the shelf for a little bit. Can you
Mm.
kind of run us through what happened there and the recovery, how you're feeling now?
Well, ankle feels great. I mean, I'm about to fight somebody in 10 days, so it's got to feel pretty decent. So really, it was kind of just like a fluke training accident. In the middle of the summers in May, it was getting hot, sticky outside, so it's twice as much inside. You got people sweating in there, just working, putting in work, on the mats, and so that and getting kind of caught up the wrong way with my training partner at the time, kind of just kind of resulted in my leg twisting and or my foot twisting. Something twisted and something else didn't, and so my ankle kind of gave way. And yeah, it was not fun. Very painful injury. Um, the recovery process was not fun, but I listened to a great surgeon and a great PT staff, and honestly, it all went super smooth. The one thing most professional athletes have going for them is they have a higher level of fitness and a higher level of drive to get certain aspects of their fitness back after an injury or some kind of physical setback. So they were pretty impressed with the speed of my recovery. But when I knew there's no soft tissue damage in there, it was just bone. I knew that the recovery wouldn't be too terrible, so there was a lot of pushing through the pain, but the ankle is feeling good now. I can wrestle. I've kicked people with it. It's been kicked. It's been stomped on. It's been twisted. So it's good.
Okay, yeah, life is back to normal. Well, I do have to dive into that last fight that we did see you in there, Cage Titans 52 in April. It didn't go your way against Johnny Campbell. I know, Aaron, we've talked off, interview form a little bit about that, but what's the takeaway from that fight? What did you learn from that loss to Johnny?
Um, it's hard, man. So I feel like anything I say kind of sounds like an excuse, even though like I did learn things from it. That was a version of myself that was not like 100%. I'm not, I don't honestly, it was a cut. Like cuts happen. Like I don't want to sit here and spew out a bunch of stuff because it just sounds like I'm making excuses. And you know what? He landed a clean elbow. The doctor thought the fight should be stopped. I didn't. He didn't. Kevin didn't. His corner didn't. My corner didn't. Everybody there kind of didn't think so either. So unfortunately, the one person that thought it should be stopped was the one person that could. So cut's cut. There are certain things to take away from it, but I know what my mistake was, and I've corrected that.
Okay. Well, take the cut out of the equation. Let's say that didn't happen and you guys went into the second round. How comfortable, how confident did you still feel that you were going to be able to turn that fight around and get a win?
Extremely. I mean, I knew something was wrong on his end because he was exerting a lot of energy into the ground and pound and just holding me down and trying to hold me in one spot. So I knew I had to buy my time and find a smart way up. And he caught me with the elbow. I was 100% confident going in the second round that things were going to be very different.
Mhm. Well, is that a rematch that you hope happens at some point down the line?
It is what it is, Ryan. I mean, I'm focusing on what's in front of me right now.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you were also supposed to fight Peter Barrett in June. That was canceled. I have to
Mhm.
imagine that was because of the ankle.
That was the fight I was getting ready for when the ankle injury happened.
Okay. Man, and you've been getting so many really good names. I mean, obviously with Johnny, then the fight with Peter, and now you're taking on Zach. I mean, that's going to be kind of refreshing for you as a fighter, still competing here in the New England circuit to be getting names like that, because not everyone does.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the reputation I've built for myself. I don't shy away from hard fights like I do. I wouldn't say I talk a lot. I mean, some you kind of say I could because I do sit here and say like there are a lot of guys in New England that don't take tough fights. Like, so if you consider that talking trash, that it just is what it is. These guys want to have like smart careers where they get into the UFC with these big, bright, shiny records, and then they go get choked out or smashed in the first round. Like it's, and there are some guys that, maybe when they got the call up, it was just like the tough matchup and they were ready for it. But, I've seen a lot of guys on the local scene that take fights that are very easy and catered and handpicked. And it's the fight game. Like it's supposed to be hard. Like it's fighting. So if you're going to take the easy way out of a hard situation, I'm just not going to have a lot of respect for it. So I just choose to fight some tough fights. Zach is a very tough opponent, but I'm also a very tough opponent for him. They think they have a read on me. Johnny and him train at the same gym. They don't. So, we're going to see what's what come October 29th, and I'm 100% ready to return to my relentless ways.
All right. Well, I do want to completely dive into that fight here in just 1 second. First, you did mention the UFC, and you're one of my favorite guys to break down fights with. So there's a big card this weekend, UFC 280. Please tell me who is going to win between Oliveira Makhachev, Sterling Dillashaw. Who are your picks and why?
Man, those are some tough, super tough matchups. So if Charles Oliveira had not been on the run that he's on now, I mean, I kind of can't pick against the guy with some of the stuff he's done lately, against the level of competition that he's done it against. I don't think Islam's strength of schedule is as good, but a lot of people did say that about Khabib when he got his shot, and then he obviously did what he did. It's going to be jiu-jitsu against sambo, and who's got the better cardio. I think Charles has the advantage on the feet, and control-wise is probably Islam. The submission threat is probably Charles. So it's a hard fight, but I'm going to have to go with the former champ, Charles Oliveira, for that one. TJ Dillashaw, Aljamain Sterling is another super dynamic matchup. I mean, both these guys have stellar wrestling, really good striking, great cardio. They mix things up well. I think Aljo's top control and sequencing of his takedowns is probably slightly higher level than TJ's. I think TJ's striking is meaner, and his overall demeanor is a little meaner. I'm a TJ fan. I have been. Obviously, the PED thing sucked, but the guy owned up to it, served his time, and I'm sure he's been, tested 8 million times since then. So, but I'm gonna have to roll with TJ on that one.
Okay. And new. Okay, so you're picking TJ to reclaim the belt.
Reclaim the belt.
Official prediction: what round? How does he get it done? Same thing for Oliveira. What round? How does he get it done?
Honestly, I think we could be in for a long co-main and main event. I think these guys are gonna be playing some high level chess with some very drastic and severe consequences. As far as like picking a finish, I've seen holes in Islam's stand-up game that I really think Charles can exploit. I'm interested to see how Charles starts the fight. Sometimes he does kind of start slow, has to get tagged, put on his back to like really kind of get himself in gear. But I mean, you can't really do that with Islam. So if he starts fast, I think he can catch him. I don't know if it'll be in the first. It could be in the second. I don't really see either of these fights being a finish, honestly. I think Aljo and TJ is going to be a really dynamic stand-up battle until one starts getting the better of the other, and then it's going to go to wrestling and who can mix things up a little better and put it in there. But I definitely see that one going to a decision. I think back to Charles, there could be that knockout. It could be a late sub, but honestly, I think he may have to ride out some of Islam's top pressure for a while in that fight. So I could see that fight going very late into the fourth, into the fifth, into the scorecards. Charles, if there's a finish, it's probably going to be in the third, fourth round, later in the fight, after he's kind of rode out some of that top pressure, stood back up a couple times, got Islam kind of, questioning what's what, and then throwing something up later in the fight.
All right. Are you guys going to watch it together as a team? It seems like you guys do a lot of things together as a team, which is very cool.
We'd all kind of planned on it until we found out like what time it was at. It's like we're super early in the morning, so like we are all getting ready for fights. So we're actually gonna be training during a good portion of the prelims, and then people have other things kind of planned. So unfortunately, like it's like a big card, but the timing of it for us here on the East Coast in the United States kind of made it a little difficult for everybody to get together.
Yeah. Well, for the first time in a while, anyways, at least it's better for us on the East Coast than out on the West Coast. They'd be watching it really
That's true.
All right, buddy.
Really, really early.
Really early. Let's talk about this matchup with Zach. Again, Cage Titans 56, October the 29th. Zach is 10-2. He's got a 5-fight win streak going. 2 of those wins are by Darce choke. When you look at his losses, I mean, they're pretty high-level fighters. Peter Barrett, Darius Estelle. What do you feel like stylistically we're going to see here on October the 29th? Do you feel like this is going to be a grind of a fight, or are you guys going to be able to showcase your striking skills and get off there?
I mean, I know what I'm going to showcase, and that I'm just going to like save for fight night. So that's going to be fun. I mean, we both have styles that lend this to be a more drawn out, grueling kind of fight. He's very heavy with the takedown, top pressure, front headlock series. Really good at getting up, not getting taken down, counter striking on the offense. So, I bring a full MMA game. I can grapple on the ground. I can stand back up. I can take him down. I can punch him in the face. I can kick him in the head. So it's going to be a very high level mixed martial arts bout.
Is Zach a tougher fight for you than Johnny, or do you feel like this is going to be an easier matchup?
I feel like they're different. I feel like Johnny's mental game with the amount of experience is probably more on point than Zach's, but they're very different fighters. They have different styles, different approaches, different builds. So, I mean, every fight is tough. Like I said, I don't take easy fights. Like I take these tough fights for a reason, because I'm out here trying to prove what I say. And, you don't get big rewards without taking big risks. So I'm here to fight good people and put my skills on the line, So I don't feel like either one, you can really say either one is more tough than the other, because they bring different aspects of toughness to the cage.
Will there be a size difference in this fight? Or is one of you guys bigger than the other?
I don't think so, honestly. I think his listed height is actually a couple inches shorter than me. I know what my walk around weight is. I don't know what his is. I mean, I don't really care. I pushed for the fight at 45. They wanted the catch weight, so the catch weight it is. I'm pretty sure originally, way back in February when this was like first offered, it was a catch weight. So, I'm cool with it. I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be when I walk into the cage. So I don't think size is going to be too much of an issue.
And obviously this is a very important fight for the both of you guys, but I think even more so for you, Aaron, to get back in the win column. I mean, this is vital. I know you want to take this as far as you can. Do you feel pressure going into this fight?
I mean, not really. Every fight, a tough fight. Everything I've had um, is a main event. Like my last five fights in a row have been main events, every single one of them. So, I mean, it's another fight. It's another fight. It just so happens to be another main event. I put the most pressure on myself. Like I put more pressure on myself than anybody else does. So I I know what I bring to the table. I know how good I am, and I'm just gonna go out there and showcase it.
Give me your official prediction. I know you believe you're going to get your hand raised, but how do you get it done?
Ooh, I don't want to give too much away, Ryan. I don't know. I think I'm gonna sit on this one, man. I'm gonna keep just bite my tongue. You're gonna have to wait and see.
Okay, well, just answer me this. Does it go the distance, or are you getting him out of there before the judges render their decision?
Well, that's another one, man. You have to show up, like you said. You have to be there. Be there, stream it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, man. Well, either way, I can't wait to see you back in action, Aaron. This is a great fight. Aaron Lacey meets Zach DiSabatino in the main event of Cage Titans 56 on October the 29th. As always, man, it's a pleasure talking to you. It's always great having you on this show. So before we sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure. As always, Ryan, it's great talking with you about the sport we both love. MMA is pretty great. So, my sponsors, I've got a few. Hagen's Motor Pool, Mike Hagen, this guy that comes into the gym. Um, Great guy, supports all the fighters. So if you're in the Somersworth area, looking for a car, great guy. I got Bill Jones and Halls Rose Roofing. Bill and I actually way back when had been slated for a matchup, and now here he is sponsoring me. So it's funny how the MMA world works sometimes. So Premium Firewood Services, Sea of Tranquility Massage Therapy, Thrive Meals. Oof, I got a couple others, but I'm probably forgetting them. Follow me on Facebook, Aaron Lacey, Aaron Relentless Lacey for the fan page. Instagram is relentless_MMA 91. I don't know what Twitter is, so I don't do that. Check out Nostos. They film me a lot because I'm bad at it. Yeah, that's it, I think. I don't know.